Hey internet, what's up? It's me, Blue Sirens, lo-fi musician and producer. About a week ago, I did a video on SoundCloud and why I think SoundCloud is dying and no one really uses it anymore. And I also remembered around the time of making this that I also used to use Bandcamp a lot. But I used to use it. I don't really use it that much anymore. Why? Well, long story short is Bandcamp is what I used to use to buy music to support other musicians. And now the majority of musicians just put their music on streaming services. So I don't really see a benefit from a consumer standpoint of buying music if it's already going to be there on the streaming service I'm already paying for. Now, if an artist does something exclusive on Bandcamp, okay, that my interest has peaked and I'll check it out. I might buy it. But one thing that's also really exclusive to Bandcamp is merch. And there's no better time than Bandcamp Friday, which is this Friday, than to drop your exclusive music, merch, whatever, t-shirts on Bandcamp. And here's the reason why. Bandcamp Fridays, they waive their fees. So normally when you do a sale on Bandcamp, they take anywhere from 7 to 15% cut so that they can, maintain everything. But on Bandcamp Fridays, they waive all those fees so you can keep all the money, or almost all the money, from the sale that you do. So, Bandcamp Fridays, this Friday, November 1st, it's a really good chance, a really good opportunity to do a exclusive merch drop, maybe release some demo versions of songs or something, because you can drive people directly to Bandcamp saying it's only going to be here and it's only going to be here for this Friday. They'll buy it up maybe and you can make some money. Now, you might be thinking, well, I could just do some of this stuff on my Spotify store. I already have a website, I can do stuff there. You could totally do all those things and then just take the design down, but you might also encounter more processing fees going with your Spotify store or the store that's on your website. I don't know. So it's a good idea maybe for some people to direct people to Bandcamp, do a sale, do some sort of discount, do an exclusive merch drop. There's a good opportunity you have to try and bring in new people to your merch or to your music. But here's the flip side of that, and where I get caught up on this. We don't buy music anymore, and I feel like you have to have a certain amount of followers to get merch sales, because I've had merch on my Bandcamp, I have merch on my website, I've had merch on my Instagram and on my Spotify, and I never really saw a lot of people buy it. And I have like 30,000 listeners on Spotify per month. I've had over 100,000 before, and I just never really saw a lot of people buy merch, for me at least. And I'm a lo-fi musician. I'm not like a part of the lo-fi girl label, so like I'm not really a big artist, and I know I'm not a big artist by any means, but I just don't really have as dedicated fans to want to buy music like rock bands, pop artists. I feel like those are the bands that they sell t-shirts, they move merch, they're also doing a lot more live shows, so that makes sense. And just to revisit Lo-Fi Girl, they're a record label, they have a very strong brand, and people will buy that sweater, that hoodie, that beanie, whatever, because it's just so recognizable. Their brand's really strong. People may not know all the artists on the Lo-Fi Girl label, but they know the merch when they see it because they've just built such a strong brand around lo-fi. So they have a very easy opportunity to sell merch anytime, really, because just how strong that brand is. Smaller artists, medium artists like me, it's a bit tougher to sell merch. So I get why some artists just don't really direct a lot of people to Bandcamp for those things, and they direct people to Spotify because maybe that's where most of their listeners are. But another reason why I think a lot of people just kind of stopped using Bandcamp is the motivation and the social media aspect of other streaming services. For example, if you were to share a song or an album that I have on Bandcamp and one of your friends clicks the link and they go visit it, they may not be able to listen to the whole song or the entire EP before they buy it. They may only be able to listen to one song because there's a limit, because they want you to buy the whole thing, which I get, and that's a smart business aspect. But when someone's already paying, $7 to $10 a month just to have a streaming service, it's like, why am I spending more money when I could listen to it there? And in turn, that leads to how we share music socially. And it's a good way to like support your friends by sharing their music. The idea behind Bandcamp was that you would buy music and support the musician, and you definitely do. When you buy a song on Bandcamp, you're going to be able to make more money for that musician by buying one song than if you listen to that song thousands of times. But when you listen to that song for the artist, it also just attracts more people to it on Spotify, and it gets recommended in more playlists, and it kind of just becomes like a snowball effect where the more people do it on Spotify, the more it's going to get recommended to other people, hopefully. Whereas on Bandcamp, you just buy the song and the artist gets paid. It's very transactional, but at the same time, you're buying it because you want to support the artist, and that makes complete sense. So what do we do now? Well, if you can't really afford to buy music and have it on your hard drive, or you're like, hey, I already spent money on streaming, buy their merch on Bandcamp, or buy their merch anywhere, period, if you're trying to support an artist. If you're like, hey, I'm good on merch, I don't need any more t-shirts, or they don't really have t-shirts, or just not my design, that's fine too. Anytime one of your musician friends has a new song coming out, listen to it on the release radar, share it on the day it's released, try and get other people to listen to it. That's the way you support people that are your friends or just musicians in general. It's just by sharing their music. And hopefully someone that follows you on social media or is a friend of yours will go check that out, and they'll like it too, and they'll gain a fan. Because that's what's really behind the Spotify aspect now when it comes to the differences between Bandcamp and streaming. As Bandcamp, you bought stuff so musicians could help, pay their bills, pay for their gas, invest more into their music. But if you're not buying music and you're just streaming, which again is totally fine, if you're streaming, now the best way to support those people, your friends that are musicians or musicians you just like, is to share their music. It adds maybe like 15 seconds to someone's like Instagram story, or it's a post on Twitter or Threads just being like, hey, my friend made this, I think it's a great song, go check it out. What's the worst it's gonna do for you to share that song? Like, it's not gonna hurt your social media standing in any way, really, unless you're spamming people. But once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks, one of your friends that's a musician releases music, just share the song. And if you really like the song, share it more across the next couple weeks or two. But ultimately, if you're not gonna buy the music, because I get streaming is the thing now, buy the merch. If you're not gonna buy the merch, share the music from Spotify, from whatever streaming service you use, post it on social media, and encourage other people to check it out. Because I honestly think the days of Bandcamp are pretty much dead. People really, I don't think, make a ton of money from Bandcamp, because once you have that song, you own it. It's a very one and done kind of thing. But with streaming, it's a continuous revenue cycle, and people can rediscover that song over and over and over, and it can get recommended to people over and over and over. But you buy it, it sits on your hard drive, it's in your library, that's it. But you can share that song all the time from Spotify or any streaming service. So if you're not going to buy your friends or your artist friends music on Bandcamp, if you're not going to buy their merch, at least just share the song from Spotify or whatever streaming service you're using. Because one, they're going to know that you support them because you're going to tag them. And two, you're going to share it with the people that are on your social media, and hopefully more people will check it out and grow this following and grow the listener base for your artist friends. But hey, that's just what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.